Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers and doers, seekers of purpose and fulfillment, welcome to Passion on Purpose, the podcast that sets your soul on fire and ignites the spark within you. I'm your host, Steph Hilfer, and I'm beyond thrilled you're here. Passion on Purpose features leaders, experts, and sometimes me on center stage. We put the spotlight on visionaries, entrepreneurs, leaders, experts, and everyday heroes to share their journey of self-discovery, enthusiasm, and unwavering determination. We'll explore how they use their passion and purpose to fuel their brand. Alongside our leaders, we'll provide practical tips, actionable advice, and wisdom from our experts across various fields. So if you're ready to unleash your inner fire, shake off the doubts and insecurities, and pursue a life of purpose with unbridled enthusiasm, then let's dive in. All right, guys, we are back with another episode of the Passion on Purpose podcast. I'm so excited to have our leader on center stage today, Mark Jackson, fondly known as MJ, the owner, founder, podcast host, author, shaker, mover, father, dad. How many other amazing titles can I give you? Of InvestorComps. MJ, thank you so much for being on the show.
It is an absolute joy. I couldn't be more pleased to have opportunity to care and share with you as well as your audience. So again, thank you for the invitation. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yes, likewise. Well, I'm really excited to dive into your world. I'm so grateful when I have a guest come on and they're like, I just really want to give to your audience and really lead with passion, because that's what we do here. So you are already ahead of the game. We're going to start as we always do. And I'm going to ask you my hard-hitting question. What is your why?
It really is to see, I have this, that phrasing, you want people to do as well as you do, or to want for others what you want for yourself. And so in that mindset, there's been such a great blessing. I mean, coming from being in college and getting good education, just like my parents told me to go do. And then I'd say I got into the hospitality industry, which means I was a manager at Church's Chick.
Nice.
Yeah. Until I got robbed at gunpoint, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Almost to the point where I thought the guy was going to ask me, can I get a 2-piece to go with that? But I realized that not only was I worth more, but I had more to give for my family, children, and beyond that. And so the things that have transpired since those days, several decades ago, to the life that we're able to lead now and we look forward to the future, I truly desire for others to have that same type of experience. And the advent of doing real estate and doing it well is a way to accomplish that. It's very lasting, it's very tangible, it's very safe, secure. You sleep well at night because of the income and stability that's provided by the depreciation, appreciation, all these other things. So my why really is about seeing others walk into life as fully as they possibly can.
And what does walking into life fully look like for you?
At first, I think it's that phrasing, you want to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, and with whom. And so the walk that I've been able to afford, not only I and my family, but so many people, we have so many customers and clients inside our VIP Plus community at InvestorComps. I mean, we've served folks in every state and including some of the U.S. territories. And helping them have the data that they need to really do well. So I've transitioned individually from just being a real estate appraiser and building InvestorComps and serving others to other broader aspects of life. One of the things that I really, really treasure is the idea of celebrating my 50th wedding anniversary. Now that's still a couple of decades away. So having the capacity
I was going to say.
I know.
Sorry to cut you off, but anyone who's watching this on YouTube and this is, seeing us both, I was like, wait a minute here. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but just the idea. I discovered triathlon And so at 55 years old, I did my first full Ironman. And that was 7 years ago. And now I'm about to do the 10th one. But having the capacity to have the time to train, to do races in different locations, to be able to acquire the equipment and have family come and join me and celebrate in these races, just one aspect of the life-giving capacity that comes when you really are able to stretch and see beyond just current circumstances.
Yeah. Outside of the camaraderie, the freedom, what other fulfillment does that freedom, that living fully give you? Because I think where I'm going with this is so many people get the opportunity to have the stability financially, can do what they want to do when they want to do it, like you said, and
Yeah.
still struggle to feel fulfilled and happy in life. How do you help people through investor comps and just through your life kind of find that delicate balance? Because I feel like it must be a fine line.
It really is interesting, just by example. So I can use one individual that was a executive in this Houston market area that had really thought that they had achieved, they got this six-figure salary and the benefits, everything come with it. But gosh, they were working themselves to the bone. And they discovered what we do at Investor Comps. And literally from October until their anniversary date when they left their job was April 15th, the very following year I think I met them in 2015. They left their corporate job in 2016 and have been able to change their life entirely as compared to having to be in one place and responding and having someone else tell them what they were worth. I've had the good fortune to work with a number of practice professionals, in particular dentists. And there's one young lady, most recently, her husband is taken ill, and he's essentially transitioning towards an end-of-life event. But because of the different income streams that she's been able to establish as a result of being a solid passive income investor, she has the bandwidth to bring the family together as she's experiencing this transition in life with her husband that she would not have been able to do just being engaged at the practice. I have another example of a practice professional dad, a son, and his parents basically had worked all their lives, and they just had the Social Security and a little bit of pension coming in. And he was able to work with them creatively to deploy small balances of income that they really didn't know how to deploy. And with that, he's been able to see his parents live a more relaxed, more comfortable presence as compared to just wondering how they're going to make, what is it? They had just enough money to manage the month, and now they have more money than month. So it really makes a difference in seeing how different aspects of families or lives are changed by taking advantage of what we call utilizing a valuation first approach to real estate, which is uniquely different in that it's not so much having someone bring you a deal and say, well, this is a good deal because this is how much you can sell for, something like that. No. With my background as a real estate appraiser, which is how I came to real estate and built Investor Comps on the needs of investors that says, I want to be able to analyze a deal the way you do, MJ. I see what you do. I see how you look at things different in terms of functional obsolescence and other aspects that go into single family and small multifamily real estate. And I want to be able to do that as well. And that's the power that we've been able to give individuals. And with that power, it's able to enhance their lives as well. And those are just three little examples. There's plenty of stories to share.
Yeah. So when did you first, so you had said that, what your why is to help people live fully. This is a funny question, so I'm just going to say it. And I'm going to know it's a funny question. At what point did you feel like you started living fully? Did you feel like that was younger in life? Was that your first passive income property?
Yeah.
Where did that fullness come for you?
It came twice. Once when I was still trying to figure out what I was going to do with myself. And I met a young man that had just gone to DeVry University, and he said that he was, working and earning an income that exceeded the 7 years of work I put in at churches. And I was like, this is impossible. Well, I just couldn't believe what he was sharing. And so in that moment, I mean, in that divine intervention moment, listening to him, I could already see myself going back to school, graduating, walking across the stage at DeVry. And it was such a divine moment that literally 2.5 years later, not only was I graduating, I was a graduation speaker. So it was truly a full divine intervention moment. When I was, as a result of going to school, getting a better job, stuff like that, I was buying my first home. And at the closing table, I'm seeing this 20-page legal document with images of the house that I was buying and some other houses in the neighborhood. Long story, very, very short. It was a real estate appraisal. So right there at the moment, I turned to my wife. I said, well, before I knew it was the appraisal, I said, I don't know what this is, but I can do it. And so my realtor said, it's the appraisal. That's what the bank uses to justify the mortgage to give you the loan on a home. And so 3 years later, I took a buyout from my corporate job, went to appraisal school, and everything that's transpired, even to the point of us having this just blessed energy-filled conversation, was a result of being at that closing table buying that house back in 1996. And so those things have just given me a better perspective of what you fully can live into life if you're listening to that still quiet voice inside, hearing it fully, and then walking in a path that doesn't have limitations, doesn't have doubts or reservations. Doesn't mean you're, willy-nilly, but you remove fear, which we know is, the false evidence appearing real. And just take that, throw it to the side, and then go forward. I use this phrasing, arise to live. It's 5 simple practices. Awaken with gratitude. Realize anything is possible. Have intentional focus. Strengthen your mind and your body so you can go execute with excellence on the desires of your heart. So each and every day, when I wake up, it's filled with gratitude. I mean, think about this. If you wake up and you know who you are, and typically we have to get up and kind of go take care of some business, right? But if you wake up and it's like, oh, it's me, and you can, in whatever capacity it is that you mobilize that particular, what more is there to be grateful for in the very moments, the very awakening of the day? So that's the whole thing of awaken with gratitude. I could spend a lot of time digging into that, but it truly is how each of us should walk into the world every day, arise to live, and go take advantage of all the possibilities that are in front of you.
I love that. And I'm curious because in InvestorComps, right, this is a program. This is a coaching membership program. And of course, around real estate and around appraisals. But I'm getting so much passion from you on, your purpose and your why of helping people live fully. How much do you touch on and coach in your programs around just this simple topic of gratitude?
Yeah, we have conversations about, we have weekly meetings in the VIP group. And so it's really a collaborative engagement from active investors, passive investors, those that are just getting started, those that are just looking to do better deals, those that are looking for places to deploy capital because they want to get out of the stock market, stuff like that. And there's a wealth of conversation, even as we start out each meeting with the dynamics of what's happening with you, what good happened, and what were you able to overcome. But we also really focus in on making sure that we don't get caught in opportunities that otherwise don't fulfill us or don't allow us to live fully. Now, real estate's not for the faint of heart, so you really have to pay attention to the details. So we encourage folks to have their eyes wide open, even as they're engaging in doing transactions. That's a big part of it as well.
Yeah, in order to help people live fully, while at the same time walking through a very, like you said, not for the faint of heart, tactical, detail-oriented, high risk oriented industry, you must have really strong value system that you lead yourself through, your team through, and your clients through. What do you have core values? Do you have a mission statement? What is it that you live and breathe and speak on a regular to your community that helps keep that in alignment?
Yeah, overwhelmingly, even within our team, And I'm very fortunate to have a really solid team that is virtual. I mean, we have folks from the Ukraine, in Thailand, in the US, in Canada, in the Philippines, and we come together on a weekly basis. And one of the things that we do every single meeting we start, even independent meetings that I'm not a part of, but every single meeting we start is with prayer. We bring in divine and higher power with us before we even start talking business. We welcome that presence to us. So we see ourselves as a Christ-centered organization, and our focus is far more outward because we know that in our giving that we truly do receive. So that is the energy that we pour into the world. Do we make mistakes? Absolutely. Do we have to go back and correct things? Absolutely. But we're able to do so with vulnerability and transparency for our total and collaborative good success. So that's really the core of how we operate on an ongoing basis.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Okay. So I want to kind of veer a little off, but I want to ask, put MJ into your 5, 10, 12-year-old self body. What are you doing?
Wow. Right now.
What is little MJ doing all day? Are you alone in a corner with construction paper cutting out? Are you rallying the troops on the playground for capture the flag? Are you reading a book? What does little MJ enjoy?
Well, thanks for the framework. I needed that. Well, so I'm the oldest of 4, and I'm the only boy. So
Okay.
very much the leader, very much the protector, but also engaging, wanting folks to participate together, learn from each other, and work together. One of the phrasings I use, and I genuinely believe this, is that communication can solve anything. If, regardless of, disagreements, whatever the case be, if you sit down and you talk and you, one, listen. I utilize Stephen Covey's phrasing from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Seek to understand, then be understood. Seek to understand, listen. It takes more energy to listen than it does to talk. That's why I had to let you describe the framework of what you want me to share. So, and then be able to give. But those dynamics, that's the 12-year-old MJ, and unfortunately, it's the 61-year-old MJ too.
Not unfortunately. That's why I ask. I find that, it's funny. I think that question gives so much enlightenment around kind of the innate things that we have in ourselves, hence the word innate, that just don't leave us, right? And as soon as you told me, well, I'm the oldest, I'm the only boy, and I have younger girl siblings, I mean, the fact that you come up with communication, rallying the troops, it's no surprise that pathway for you is been very clear and in alignment with the younger MJ. Well, thank you for jumping into that silly question with me. Okay, so now I want to learn more about you've told a little bit more about this passionate side of where you are, your family, the work you're doing outside of the programs you offer. Now I want to dive a little bit more into the programs. Tell me a little bit more about InvestorComps. You had mentioned there's a VIP program. Just you take it over.
Yeah, InvestorComps, again, it was really created as out of an ask. It wasn't even my idea. But you had a number of individuals. I started in the Atlanta market area, and I was working with loan officers who then introduced me to a couple of different real estate investors. And so their needs are very different from the person that just wants to do a refinance or is buying a home. They need to understand, if they acquired this property, was it in the right location? What was going to be the turn time to actually renovate it and get it back on the market? What were the dynamics of if there were other permits taking place? So they needed other building permits that on a home that they were doing as a renovation. Would they have to compete new construction versus renovation? So these are the things that I was able to see and know from the appraiser side as compared to just, what's the value of the property? Because just knowing what the value of the property is will get you in trouble. You need to know how much you should actually pay for that asset, given the number of contingencies that are surrounding that particular location, age of the property, construction, so on and so forth. But simultaneously have a really good sense of what the after repair value is. That's really taking a valuation first approach. And so we help not only the active investors that wanted to do the deals, but as we've grown over time, and even my investing activity has shifted from deploying capital, not just doing my own deals, but putting my money into another operator. I help those individuals that are practice professionals, high W-2 income earners, to transition out of the craziness of the stock market and then be tied to the safety and security of a single family tangible asset that, at the very least, even if you liquidate it at a discount, you're going to get back all of your principal. That's the thing that makes real estate so very, very powerful. While then you add on, the time value of money, the appreciation of the property, the wonderful tax benefits of depreciation and expenses that go against those assets, that type of thing when you're doing tax returns and tax planning. So we work with and have the very good fortune to serve clients in so many different places, not only domestically, but also internationally. Clients in Italy that invest in deals in the U.S., clients in Australia that invest in deals in the U.S., from Asia and Canada. It's been a joy just to be now actively in that space where we're helping folks discover, what else they can do as compared to just the 401k or just having money in the stock market. I mean, you look at your capital stack. I'm not an expert at being a financial planner, but I certainly know how to help folks make determinations of where can they actually garner better returns through real estate as compared to just maybe some of the tried methods that they've been told or advised to by planners or whatever the case may be. So it's just giving folks a little bit different choice, some unique diversity, and even if it's looking at something doing midterm rental, you don't have to just do Airbnb. You could do something in a location where you want to have 3-month rental terms for traveling nurses or in some cases near universities where professors or associate professors are coming in for a full semester. There's other ways to really make this thing called real estate work in your favor, garnering passive income, but also building equity as well as expanding your net worth at the same time. Those are the conversations that we get into. And I just go back, InvestorComps allows everybody that is in the community to utilize that valuation first approach, which is not shared, let's just say, by other teachers, trainers, gurus. I stay in my lane, and as such, have been able to have a wealth of really good success, but also watch others succeed too. And that's been the real joy.
Yeah. So nitty-gritty high level, is this program if somebody's in the program, do they get access to a tool that helps with appraisal, or is that something you teach? Like, what would somebody expect if they join? And is there varying levels of joining? Like, I know we're running tight on time here, but give me kind of a high level of what that looks like.
Yeah, whether you're a new investor, seasoned, a passive income investor, first time or seasoned, everybody's in the same slot. VIP Plus is just one program. We do offer, as part of it, all of the training that I've done as part of InvestorComps, how to understand buying and wholesaling HUD properties, how REO properties being sold by the bank work, how to actually identify and work with private lenders. We have a number of different trainings there. In addition to that, but separate, we do offer you access to have a membership with InvestorComps, our data platform. So you don't have to have it. Being part of the VIP community is really the meat of how we engage and help others communicate and guide together, because there's so many different folks that are active investors that are partnering with the passive income investors in the community. And we just talk about the different transactions that you're doing for everybody's good. Safety, security, certainly speaking the same language, that type of thing. We have some really awesome dialogue and conversations. I do weekly newsletters as well as Monday Moments with MJ, which goes out live on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram every week, where I'm sharing the latest information that's coming out. But VIP Plus is essentially a one-stop shop with all of our training, the wonderful engagement and community that takes place, And that's something that I'm always willing to share and invite folks to be a part of.
Nice. I love it. Well, how would somebody know that this is for them? So who is investment comps for, and what is the easiest way to kind of get into your world? I know you just mentioned a couple of them with the moments with MJ, Monday moments with MJ, and
Yeah.
obviously you've mentioned there's the group, but what is another way to get started with you or get into your community?
Yeah, we always take time to have dialogue and conversation with folks. So you can utilize vip.investorcomps.com/schedule just to have a chat. We'll get you set up a time and we'll just see what are your goals and aspirations? What did you want to accomplish? Just to make sure there's a good fit. In addition to that, to get more information about how I communicate in the real estate world, we also have just completely complimentary. You can sign up for my newsletter, and I'll make sure I give you the link for that for folks just to grab as far as the show notes and stuff like that.
For sure. Okay. Yeah, I will make sure, guys, that in the show notes, we've got, it sounds like a plethora of ways to get into MJ's world and start to dive. I would imagine a great deal of listeners would be more on the new to beginner level, possible investors, possible interest in the real estate world. So I want to make sure, I'm going to ask the question, do you feel like there's a place, I heard you say all varying levels, but are our new and beginners, should they jump in and chat with you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, we all have to start somewhere. So yes, we welcome the opportunity to guide folks in a very, very tangible way that lets them know that regardless of what type of transaction they're doing, if they want to do probate with folks that are, have transition in life and that's their lead source. If they just want to be in a situation where they work with just cheap government houses, if all they want to do is bank foreclosures, it doesn't make a difference where the deal comes from. It's knowing that you're taking that valuation first approach, because at some point you've got to get to how much you're going to pay for the asset and what you can remarket for, no matter where the lead source is.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure you work with men and women across the U.S., outside the U.S., if they're looking for properties within the U.S. Did I hear that right? Yep. Best way to get started would be to go and schedule some time with you or your team. We'll put that link in the show notes for sure.
Yep.
I am so glad that we got to finally jump on here and get to chat with each other. And I got to learn more about you. Thank you so much for coming on, MJ.
It is an absolute joy. I couldn't be more pleased. Thank you so very, very, very much.
Yes. All right, guys. Until next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Passion on Purpose podcast. I truly hope you got a lot of value out of this episode. So if you did, please rate, review, and share. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, whether a leader or an expert, please go to getvim.com/podcast and you will find our application page, or reach out to me directly and I can give you more information.